You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon, welcome back. Today is Tuesday, 29th day of October, 2024. Let me just tell you up front, if you're tuned in via the YouTube stream, it's still dropping frames. I tried one more new thing. Tomorrow, I'm really just going to switch out the software. I don't know what else to do. So, here's the deal. Go to mytradingiq.com. Scroll down the page to where it says afternoon broadcast. Click the link, fill out the 30-second registration form. You're done. Number one, it's going to get you into the room with us today, like instantly. And going forward, what will happen is every trading day, you'll get an email about an hour before the broadcast starts. In the email, there's a link. At 12 noon Eastern, all you have to do is click the link in the email. That will automatically log you into our platform, where we won't drop any frames and everybody will be happy. Now, of course, there will be days you're out of the office, away from the desktop, but you still want to join live. Man, you guys are needy. Just kidding. And there'll be days when you're busy, can't join live, but want to get caught up later. I speak of our YouTube channel, youtube.com/CFRN. Now, I do not believe that this problem is on the YouTube side. It's on the Dwayne side. So, mea culpa. All right. Not only do we broadcast live, or simulcast, as we're doing right now. That's broadcasting at two different places. Not only do we broadcast live every trading day on our YouTube channel, but we also archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there's over 2,600 daily episodes archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. And it's a good way to get to know who we are if you're new. You can scroll back 6 days, 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, even more. Of course, you're not going to watch them all, but thanks to the power of YouTube, you can see how we've evolved over the years. Okay? If you become a member, really all you got to do is just show up every day for class, ask lots of questions, and learn our very simple methodology. And I'm going to give you Logic 247 alerts so you can learn how to read the charts. And you need to learn how to read the charts so that you can better learn how to trade. Okay? And Michael, when he comes on, he's going to he'll walk you through all the steps of taking the trial if you've never taken it. If you've already taken the trial and you're ready to become a member, email support@cfrn.net, and in the subject line, I want to become a member. Valerie will send you some info and a link, and then once you actually become a member, and welcome to our new member from yesterday, Valerie will then send you another email or a couple of emails, and you want to save those in a folder somewhere, because you're going to need them in weeks to come, okay? And whether you're on the trial or been a member for years, If you are not monitoring our many Telegram channels, you're missing a whole big piece of the pie. The live training room every day, that's awesome. Live training in an interactive environment, real trades in real time in real markets, while you trade along in your demo account, qualifying to go live, and asking questions at the same time. Your questions are not an interruption of what's happening in the room. They're the reason for the room. So never be shy. Only myself, Michael, Bert can see what you type, or Valerie, into the question box. But we will always get your questions answered. And if you ask a question and a couple of minutes go by and you don't get an answer, just copy and paste it in again. We won't get mad. Quit hammering me. No. No, sometimes they just scroll out of sight because a bunch of people make comments and it just rolls up. We can't see it. We want your questions. We want you to get an answer to your questions. And we want you to understand the answer. So if you ask a question, we give you an answer, and it doesn't compute, and then say, I heard what you said, but I don't understand. It's okay to say that, because we really want to teach you how to trade, okay? This isn't just some trade calling service. We're not just trying to sell you some indicators and oscillators and, all that noise. We've been around since 2005, and we actually have members who've been with us since 2005. But anyway, let me stop tooting the CFRN horn and get into today's schedule. Our daily devotional, a word of prayer, a little news, recap of the alerts. And about 12:50 or 50 minutes into the broadcast, Michael will join us, give us a recap of what happened in the live training room today. It's our first blue day in quite some time. Then we'll do some live trading on the TradingView platform for about a half an hour. And then I'll wrap things up with our good word for the day. Dropping frames like a bad dog. Look at that. I've never seen this. Okay. Well, I can fix that by switching software. Okay, enough of that. Topic of our devotion that we've been in now for 8 days. This is day 8 of 9. We wrap this up tomorrow. The title is Going Deeper, Meeting the Messiah in John chapter 1 through 4. Today's scripture is John 4, verses 27 through 42. And I'm going to share from the Message translation. Now you'll remember where we left off yesterday. Jesus was at the well talking to the Samaritan woman. Number one, men weren't supposed to talk to women if they weren't in their family. And Jews, under no circumstances, talked to Samaritans. So he was breaking a couple of the Jewish elite rules. But he didn't care. He's God. So anyway. So this is where we're going to pick up in the scripture. Remember the woman? He's asked the woman to draw him some water. He's promised to give her living water. Okay. Just then, his disciples came back. They were shocked. They couldn't believe he was talking with that kind of a woman. No one said what they were all thinking, but their faces showed it. The woman took the hint and left. In her confusion, she left her water pot. Back in the village, she told the people, "Come see a man who knew all about the things I did, who knows me inside and out. Do you think this could be the Messiah?" And they went out to see for themselves. In the meantime, the disciples pressed him. "Rabbi, eat. Aren't you going to eat?" Remember, they had gone into town to buy lunch. He told them, "I have food to eat you know nothing about." The disciples were puzzled. Who could have brought him food? Jesus said, "The food that keeps me going is that I do the will of the one who sent me, finishing the work he started." As you look around right now, wouldn't you say that in about 4 months it will be time to harvest? Well, I'm telling you to open your eyes and take a good look at what's right in front of you. The Samaritan fields are ripe. It's harvest time. The harvester isn't waiting. He's taking his pay, gathering in this grain that's ripe for eternal life. Now the sower is arm in arm with the harvester, triumphant. That's the truth of the saying, we reap what we sow. I sent you to harvest a field you never worked. Without lifting a finger, you have walked in on a field worked long and hard by others. Many of the Samaritans from that village committed themselves to him because of the woman's witness. He knew all about the things I did. He knows me inside and out. They asked him to stay on, so Jesus stayed 2 days. A lot more people entrusted their lives to him when they heard what he had to say. They said to the woman, "We're no longer taking this on your say-so. We've heard it for ourselves and know it for sure. He is the Savior of the world." Now again, that was John chapter 4, verses 27 through 42, and that was from the Message translation. Have you ever asked yourself what kind of response Jesus wants from us? The Samaritan woman had just heard an extraordinary declaration from Jesus that he is the Messiah who can give the gift of living water. In these verses we see Jesus' disciples and the response of the Samaritans side by side. The Samaritan woman wastes no time. She runs back to town and tells everybody she knows that they need to meet Jesus. Like the first disciples back in chapter 1, she invites people to come and see, to consider the possibility that this might be the Messiah himself. Meanwhile, the disciples are thinking about lunch. They're surprised to find Jesus talking to a woman and wanting to eat something. When Jesus declared that he has food to eat that they don't know about, they're confused. Who could have got him lunch? But just as in the temple, with Nicodemus and with the Samaritan woman, Jesus is not talking literally. This is about something much more important. Jesus explains that his food, the thing that satisfies him, is to do what God has asked of him, to finish the work. What is the work? He invites his disciples to look at the fields in front of them. The crops are still green, but the harvest of people coming into God's kingdom, the Samaritans coming out of town towards Jesus, is ripe and ready to reap. This is a harvest for eternal life, something that others, the prophets and preachers that came before Jesus, have sown. Now the disciples will reap and benefit as they see people come to know the Messiah. And that's exactly what happens. Many of the Samaritans come to believe in Jesus. Their first step is because of the woman's testimony. Now remember, This was a woman who had sort of a shady life that she'd lived. But that doesn't matter. She brought them the good news, her evidence of what Jesus had known about her. But that's not everything. They stay and hear from Jesus himself, so they can say their faith is not secondhand. They have heard for themselves and know that Jesus really is the Savior. How amazing that this message of the Messiah, the eternal life he offers, really is for anyone who will hear and believe. And what an extraordinary promise that Jesus' followers can play a part in bringing in the harvest. If we're followers of Jesus, that now includes us. Just like the Samaritan woman, we can invite people to come and see for themselves. Join me in a word of prayer. We got one more day left on this topic tomorrow. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the example of the Samaritan woman who shared her encounter with Jesus, bringing others to believe. Help us to boldly share the hope we find in Christ, that others may come to know his love and truth. May our lives be a reflection of your grace, drawing others closer to you. We continue to pray for those suffering from the recent hurricanes. We continue to pray for an end to the conflict in the Middle East. And as the presidential election is just a few days away, we ask for your hand of guidance. Lord, grant wisdom to voters, integrity to leaders, and honesty in every aspect of the election process. May the election be fair, free from corruption, and serve to unite our nation in the pursuit of justice and the common good. It's in Jesus' name we believe and pray. And everybody said, amen. Amen. And happy Tuesday. All right, the numbers from around the world, starting in the U.S. with the cash markets, or the indices as they're called. Currently the Dow's down 52 points. The Nasdaq's up 100. S&P 500 is up 11. And the Russell 2000 is down 10. Mixed markets. As futures traders, we want to see those four major indices all the same color. We don't care if they're all four red or all four green, because we can be long or short at the drop of a hat as futures traders. But when the markets are divided, the four major indexes, as they are now, we got 2 in the green, the NQ and the S&P, 2 in the red, Dow and the Russell. No movers, no shakers, but divided markets. That means typically sideways, choppy trade. And right there, that's probably why Michael had his first blue day this morning in the live training room in a very long time. I'm sure he'll explain all that to you when he gets here. In the commodity basket, crude oil down 28 cents, trading 67.10 last. Gold up $23.90, trading 27.79.80 last. That's a gain of almost 1%. Silver up 43 cents, trading 34.43 last. That's a gain of 1.25%, or almost $2,500 per contract traded. In the Asian markets at the close, the Nikkei posted a gain of 298 points. Shanghai dropped 35. The Hang Seng gained 101. And in the European markets at the close, FTSE down 61, the DAX down 41, the CAC down 42. So that gave us a mixed day in Asia. It was a red day for the UK. And as I've already said, it's a mixed Radio Tuesday here in the US of A. Now, none of the markets, the red ones or the green ones, in the US indices, they're not deep. In fact, the Nasdaq's like half 1%. The Russell, which is in the red, but only by about half of 1%. So could we all end up on the same side of the street by the end of the session today? Yeah, it could happen. We'll have to wait and see. Okay, for news, I did not know about this. JP Morgan Chase has begun suing people who took advantage of the summer's so-called infinite money glitch that enabled them to withdraw thousands of dollars from Chase ATMs. The bank filed suits in 3 federal courts, Texas, Florida, and California, to try to recoup an untold amount of losses. Wow, it's so much they can't even count it? It's kind of like, never mind. That was a bad voting joke. I mean, American Idol, they can tally millions of votes and the amount of time it takes for a commercial break, but anyway. In August, videos began circulating on TikTok on how to exploit the glitch. Generally, a person either wrote and deposited a fake paper check, or one person deposited a fake check while an accomplice withdrew the funds before JP Morgan had time to bounce the check. JP Morgan fixed the vulnerability, but yesterday's lawsuits began to showcase the scheme's impact. In one case, a man from Houston is accused of stealing $290,000 after an accomplice deposited a fake check for $335,000. Other cases involved owed sums ranging from $80,000 to $141,000. I guess I need to start looking at this TikTok thing. I'm just kidding. Paper check usage has declined in recent years and accounts for an estimated 5% of transactions. Last year, fraud involving checks resulted in $26.6 billion in losses. Wow. More than 1/3 of the world's trees are at risk of going extinct, according to a new global analysis released yesterday. The assessment published during the United Nations COP16 Biodiversity Summit in Cali, Colombia, found at least 16,425 tree species are at risk from a total of 47,282, approximately 80% of documented trees examined worldwide. Tree species in 192 countries are at risk, with the highest proportion of threatened trees found on islands and in South America due to invasive species and, of course, go ahead, say it, global warming. Moving on. An operation involved, now you guys know that Epstein didn't kill himself, right? He was in that Manhattan jail. An operation involving multiple federal agencies was initiated yesterday at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, where high-profile inmates Sean Diddy Combs and Sam Bankman-Fried are currently held amid rising costs over the facility's conditions. Prison officials said the initiative was pre-planned and there is no active threat. The MDC is the only operating federal prison in New York City after federal authorities closed the Metropolitan Correction Center in 2021. That's the one where sex offender Jeffrey Epstein died by. They actually say it, suicide. Come on. The guards just happened to be asleep. The video cameras just happened to go out. And the sheets he had were like toilet paper. Anyway, I guess that's old news. The MDC has been under recent scrutiny due to a series of violent incidents, multiple deaths, contraband smuggling, and severe staffing shortages. 9 inmates were charged in September in connection with violent attacks that include 2 murders and assaults involving makeshift weapons. The facility is primarily used for post-arrest detention of those awaiting federal trial in Manhattan or Brooklyn on short sentence convictions. The MDC houses about 1,200 inmates with roughly 470 employees, and approximately 70% of its corrections officers' positions are filled. So they're running short on staff by 30%. Not good. Okay, job openings. We had news today. Job openings fell more than expected in September. The data comes as investors closely watch for signs of further cooling in the labor market ahead of the Federal Reserve's next interest rate decision on November 7th. New data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics released today showed there were 7.44 million jobs open at the end of September, a decrease from the 7.86 million seen in August, and the lowest level of job openings since January of 2021. August's figure was revised lower from the 8.04 million jobs open initially reported. Economists surveyed by Bloomberg had expected the report to show 8 million openings in September, but the number came in at 7.44, and that's before they revised it. CEOs are on the hot seat. Corporate America is sending an important signal this earnings season that the rally in U.S. stocks can continue to broaden out beyond technology shares. The mention of a bottom in results this reporting period through last week is up 56% from a year earlier, according to Bank of America. In the past, such preferences or references have preceded a broad improvement in earnings, the bank said. And that put B of A up. Oh, I just went off my screen. I had it a minute ago. Anyway, B of A was up on that news for some reason. I don't know why. Trump Media and Technology Group stock, DJT, was briefly halted several times in early trading today, but shares still managed to extend their 5-week surge, rising around 10%, currently up almost 13%. The volatile stock moves come as investors bet on improved chances that Donald Trump will win the November presidential election set for a week from Tuesday. Now, today's gains built on a more than 21% gain yesterday following the former president rally at Madison Square Garden, where he was accused of reenacting the Hitler rally. Now, when Bruce Springsteen plays there, when Hillary gives a speech there, are they reenacting that? Somebody's getting real desperate. I think the media has pretty much shrugged that off. U.S. single-family homes prices increased in August amid still tight supply, which together with elevated mortgage rates continue to keep prospective buyers on the sidelines. House prices rose 0.3% on a month-on-month basis after gaining 0.2% in July. They increased 4.2% in the 12 months through August after an upwardly revised 4.7% advance in July. The rise in annual house prices was previously reported to have been 4.5%. Mortgage rates initially dropped after the Federal Reserve began cutting interest rates last month, but they have risen over the past 4 weeks as solid economic data forced traders to surrender hopes for another 50 basis point rate cut next month. The average rate on the popular 30-year fixed-rate mortgage rose to 6.54% last week from 6.44% the prior week, according to Freddie Mac. Now, we talked yesterday about the Fed possibly hitting the pause button next month. But because of that job news today, and then we got big news Thursday and Friday, the U.S. Federal Reserve will cut its interest rate by 25 basis points on November 7th, according to all 111 economists in a Reuters poll, with more than a 90% majority predicting another quarter percentage point move in December. I hope they're right. And last, in news today, by 2040, there will be at least 10 billion humanoid robots priced between $20,000 and $25,000, Elon Musk said at the 8th Future Investment Initiative Conference, which began today in Saudi Arabia's capital. Wow. What are we going to do? Are they going to build stuff? Are they going to make our breakfast? I'll have to look into that. Okay. So, now we get on to the really bad news. It's not that bad. Logic 247, our 24/7 around-the-clock E-mini alert service. It's not just E-minis, crude, oil, gold, silver, bonds. We're in week 326, and yesterday we crossed the 18,200 mark. That means over the last 326 weeks, we've issued over 18,200 individual handcrafted alerts. And what we've averaged on a weekly basis is 20% or less being stopped out based on market structure and a very simple process that we teach all of our passport holders. Now, yesterday we were sitting at 20%. Today, we're at 31. Okay, it happens. But we still got the rest of the week to get things in line. Now, Valor did the recap this morning at 6:30 a.m. Eastern. At the time she did the recap, we had issued a total of 28 alerts. I've issued more since then. Shardy Mark II never triggered. Still waiting on 10. Plus the ones I did today. So far, 16 actionable alerts, of which 5 or 31% would have been stopped out. Again, based on market structure and that simple process we teach all of our passport holders. Last week, we finished the week with like over 70 alerts and only 8% stopped out. So now 326 weeks, that's a long time, okay? If you're trying to achieve trading perfection, stop it. You're just wasting time and treasure. You're never going to get to the point where you never get stopped out. Just get over that. Professional traders have gotten over it. They know that it's a part of the business, a business based on probabilities. Now, the logic alerts give you an entry price, an initial target, additional targets, and a final trade to target. But they're not created for you to just trade the alerts so that you don't have to worry about learning how to trade. They're designed to help you learn how to read a chart properly so that you can learn how to properly trade. It teaches you how to spot potential resistance, potential support. It shows you the windows of opportunity. All right, let's say you have an alert that's got 3 targets, okay? Well, if price passes through target number 2, then you instinctively know that there's a window of opportunity up to target number 3. If you use them properly and ask me questions based on whatever you don't understand, we'll get you squared away, okay? But if you're not doing the work, it's not going to happen by itself, okay? You have to show up, you have to do the work. And we try to make it as simple as possible. Long before we had the Logic 247 alerts, we had the Concierge Trade alerts, which are different. Now, the Logic alerts can come out anytime around the clock, 2 a.m. or 2 p.m., because futures trade around the clock. We have traders around the globe. Our day session is their night session and vice versa. If you're a member or trial member, you need to read this, make sure you understand it, and if you don't, ask questions. All of these targets for all of these markets were published last night, 5 minutes after the open. Okay? So every one of our members, every one of our trial members had every one of these targets at 6:05 p.m. Eastern. So let's get over to the daily chart. All right. Now remember yesterday we changed the fib retracements from the low of August 5th to the all-time historic high of October 17th. The green line's the BBC. It stands for bull bear cross. When price crosses above the green line, we're bullish and expect higher prices. When price crosses below the green line, we're bearish and expect lower prices, higher prices. You'll notice the pullback to the BBC holds more often than it doesn't. Leg retrace, but eventually it will trade through. And when it does, then it will retrace. Price always reverts to the mean. In our case, the mean is green. It's called the BBC bull bear cross. Okay. Pullback held, pullback held. Then we had this historic rally. Then we traded through. And then we traded through again. A little unusual. But the pullback held and the pullback held. We hit red and falling, resistance. And price was trapped yesterday between the 38 and red and falling. Today price is trapped between the daily BBC. See, once again, the pullback held. Resistance is right up there at 58.82 and change. Red and falling. Okay. Now, institutional traders, the ones who actually move price because of their account size, They look at daily, weekly, and monthly charts, the way you and I look at 30-minute charts, 5-minute charts, tick charts, and range charts. And do they use fibs and fib retracements? You bet they do. Again, that's why I only show the fibs on the daily chart. Okay? On the smaller time frames, it's not that you can't use them on the smaller time frames, you can. Okay? But sometimes it just creates noise. So now that we've made this the significant low and the all-time high, the significant high. The 24% fib retracement is down at 57.48. That's the shallowest possible fib retracement. Using the same 14th century math in a different way, we're also able to do fib extensions. So the fib retracements show you where the market should find support on the way down, okay? But the fib extensions, using that same 14th century math, predict where the market is likely to find resistance in the future. At the 50, at the 50, basically the 50, okay? But we've got a series of lower highs here so far. So, I mean, it's going to be really volatile leading up to the election and after for a week or two until things finally settle down, no matter what the outcome is. So be prepared. But what I want to encourage you to do is whatever you trade, whether it's futures or stocks or crypto or Forex or ETF, look at the daily chart for just 2 minutes before you start your trading session. Okay? What does this tell us right now? There's indecision in the markets. The institutions have not decided. A doji, which is what that candle is, represents indecision. Okay? Now, I said yesterday, if we closed at the bottom of the candle, that would be bearish. Same thing today. But today we're trapped between the daily BBC and, again, the pullback hill and resistance up at red and falling. If price overcomes red and falling, then it's going to hit the 50% fib extension. Then it'll hit the all-time historic high. Then it'll hit the 62% fib extension. Now your smaller time frames, 30-minute and your range charts, those are perfect for actually putting on and taking off trades. But this gives you the really big picture view, and it's a free look over the shoulder of the deep pockets that actually move price. Can't encourage you enough to use them. What was it you didn't know, Chris? Oh, you can tell me later. We're going to meet tomorrow anyway. Okay. The retracement hell, the retracement hell, the retracement hell. Now we know eventually it's going to trade through. And I think the stage is being set for that to happen. Although we really bounced off the BBC in today's session, which began last night at 6 p.m. Eastern. Oh, Chris, as soon as we get into the 30-minute charts, I'll show you exactly how to find a move spot. In fact, we'll go there right now. Yes. These are the zones that were published Monday morning, yesterday, 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Okay. This was the gap higher open we had Sunday night, which has now closed. Okay. This was the opening candle last night. It came down to the weekly trading zone. When price encounters a weekly zone, 70% of the time you're going to get consolidation. Like that, like that, like that, okay? 20% of the time you'll get rejection, like that. 10% of the time you'll get what's called a slice. That's when price slices through a weekly zone like it's not even there. When that happens, price will typically, as it runs out of steam, I don't have an example here. I could go over here, but this was Friday, but let's just say, you see how this candle sliced through the zone like it wasn't even there? Let's pretend. What did it do? It retraced back to the zone and continued in the direction of the slice. So 70% of the time consolidation, 20% of the time rejection, 10% of the time the slice. Okay? Okay. All right, so we opened, dropped, consolidated. Now everyone had these targets 5 minutes after the open. So I mean, you could have got it on the first candle. But most people would probably wait for price to get below the weekly zone before they started gunning for the short target. Well, this candle opened at 58.60 and a quarter, and it dropped 10 points to 58.50 and a quarter. So right there, one 30-minute candle, 10 points. You only need 2 points to get your goal for the day. Now when the market finds support, it's going to go look for resistance. We traded through the VVC right up to, you see these highs? We weren't able to take out those highs. That's a sign of weakness, and that's when we got this. And this low is higher than this low. That's bullish. So up goes the market. Red and falling turns to blue and climbing. And you see this high right here? The current high here is 58.70.75. This high is 73.75. So a window of opportunity would simply be, you got to break that high, okay, by more than a smidge. This isn't a great example, but I'll show you a better one. Come on. Okay. So we enter 58.71. See, that's only one tick higher. I like a little more room. So from 71, what was this high? 75. You know what? That's the general idea, but I'll show you a better one. Here's a much better one. Okay. Over here, we had a bearish cross. That's when the red line gets below the green line. Everybody sees that. Okay. This high is that bearish cross. When you have a bearish cross that leads to an extended move, the first time price revisits that area will almost always be good resistance. And it was to the tick. So what I like now as a window of opportunity, because remember we expect the zone to be resistance, and that's at 58.79. So let's go 58.77. Yeah, I've got to go up a little bit. We'll push it up. 58.77 to 58.79. It's a 2-point window of opportunity because I'm looking left to where I see no obstacles. See, on these moves up, this was potential resistance, this was potential resistance, this was potential resistance, the bearish cross was potential resistance. We're getting ready to hit it again. Often on the second time up, we'll break through it. If we break through it, then I'm confident that we'll get back to where we had resistance all day yesterday at the zone. So again, we'll check it before the end of the broadcast, 58.77 to 58.79. That's how you find a window of opportunity, just by looking left. And let's say everything fell apart and price just, for whatever reason, there was some big news that came out unexpected and the market dropped. I want to get below that low right there. So maybe I'm going to get in at 58.46 down to 42. That's 4 points. Now it could keep going. And it could keep going to here. Okay? But remember, get your goal for the day, then get out of the way. Got to have the discipline to put the mouse away. Okay, on the Dow. A lot of sideways movement. Zone. We opened last night. The vertical lines separate today, Tuesday. This was Monday. Okay. So off the open, we're right at a zone. We've got red and falling, so we drop to the BBC. Eventually, red and falling gets us below the BBC. So now we expect lower prices. And we hit the short target. Bullish cross right there. When you have a bullish cross that leads to an extended move, the first time price revisits the area, expect support, and it was. Bounced us up to the zone, took us down to the zone. Support always sends us looking for resistance. Resistance sends us back to support. Okay, Michael's here, so I'll pick up with this recap when I come back. And before I turn it over, I will draw you in a window of opportunity here. Now, we already got the pullback to the BBC, but we may get another one. Okay, and I want to make sure we get below that low, and then it's clear sailing down to the zone, which is 33. So it'd be from 35 to 33. Okay, all right, Michael, we'll pick up, guys, where we left off. Michael's going to give us a recap of what happened in the live training room this morning. Then we'll trade live on TradingView for 30 minutes, and I'll be back.
All right, here we go.
I'll be back.
You'll be back. Here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Tuesday, the 29th day of October, 2024. Now, if you have not taken a free trial with us, well, all you have to do is go here to the homepage at mytradingiq.com. Right here is a purple button. Click on that. There's no credit card required for this trial. Click on the purple button, and it will bring you to this registration page, where all we ask for is your name, your email, your phone number. And down here at the bottom, if you have an NinjaTrader, give us your machine ID. And if you have a TradingView, give us your login ID. Okay. You do that, we'll be able to get the indicators indicating for you at the beginning of your trial. And that's really where you want to be at the beginning of the trial. Okay, so look, surprise, it's not green. We ended up having a down day today. Well, we got our goal for the day early too. We got our goal after 4 minutes and 2 trades. We're up $1,500. And then we gave it all back. We had some stop outs right near the end. In the last half hour, we had a couple of stop outs that we weren't able to recover from. One on the NQ and one on the YM. So it was a total of, what is that, 36, 56, 61 ticks and stop outs. And that brought us to negative numbers. So it was just 2 stop outs that brought us to this point, but it is what it is. If you're going to read the spreadsheet, you got to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today is the 29th day of October 2024. We're minus 56 on the NQ. We're plus 5 on the Russell, minus 5 on the YM, and minus 1 on the ES. That got us to minus 292.5 on the morning session. But today it took 4 minutes and 2 trades to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up $1,500. And we took a total of 16 trades this morning. So I went from plus 1,500 to minus $2,925. It happens. Now, that's not where I ended the session. That's where I ended the session, but that's not where I'm going to end the day. Anyway, down here in the bottom, on the month now, we're at $11,945, averaging $597 per contract per 2-hour business day. And on the year, we're at $98,082 over 203 business days, averaging $483 per contract per 2-hour business day. Okay, this was 20 business days, 597. This is 203 business days, 483. 24/20 blueprint, this number actually went up because we got our goal early on. And if you quit when you get the goal for the day following the 24/20 blueprint, then your hourly rate would have gone up today, like mine did. And that's it. That's all there is to say about this. We worked 58.41 hours so far this year, getting our goal for the day. That's important to note. And that's what we ended up doing. I missed like 3 good NQ trades is all I missed on the NQ side. It seems like I got every stop out. I think I missed 1 stop out, but I got the other ones. And it happens. Some days you're going to have days like that. Today was one of those days. Look, here's my YM. A stop out, 1 positive gain, and 1 break even. And actually another positive one and a break even. So I guess we had a couple more. The day started out here with a break even trade on the YM. That did go down, put in the lower swing, came back, gave us another one right here. The first trade on the YM, we picked up 30 ticks. This is where we got the goal for the day, I think. Right here, we picked up 30 ticks on that move. Then I was waiting for it to get out of this. I drew this triangle and I was saying when it gets out of this, we should have a big move one way or the other. And we had a big move up. Now, I didn't take this because it's going into the zone. I didn't take this because I either didn't see it or it was right before the news. Then the news came out at 10 o'clock, high impact news came out, and the next trade we took was right here. That stopped us out pretty much to the tick and then went up and did what it should have done. The next trade that we took was over here, and we picked up, well, after that stop out, we were at +5. On this one, we picked up 15 ticks to get us to 20. Then on this one, again, stopped us out pretty much to the tick and went and did what it should have done. So we got down from +20, went to -5 on that stop out and had a break even right there. And that was it. Since then, during the break, not a whole lot happening in here. Nothing that you could trade in there during the break. Okay. And the Russell, let's see, the Russell, we had just this one trade right here. One trade, +5 ticks. And I don't feel like we missed a whole lot on the Russell, did we? I guess we missed one right here. Missed this trade right here going up to the zone. Didn't put in a higher swing, so you wouldn't have another trade in there. And come all the way over here. Had the weekly trading zone in the way, all the way through here. Still got the weekly trading zone in the way. There was one more trade right here that you could have taken on the Russell today. So there's only been like 2 trades on the Russell today that you could take. There was that one. There was one more in here. There was that one, this one that I missed, and this one over here. That is really unusual to only have 2 trades like that. It's got another one setting up right now, though, as I say this. It's got another one setting up right here. If we get a down close on this, we're becoming out of the weekly trading zone. So that would be tradable right there. Now, this has a high here of 44.4. So you'd be looking at 42.4 is what you'd be selling on that. Okay, 42.4. So let me just bring this over and let me turn this on. And I'll say that all again. What we're looking for, we're right in a weekly trading zone right here. So this isn't the optimal trade, but if we can close on this bar, it's going to spread the ribbon out so you have all 4 lines visible on the ribbon. The bar has a high right now of 44.4, so I'm selling 20 ticks below that at 42.4 right here on the Russell right now. Okay, I'm going to get into the rest of what happened morning. On the ES, now we're going to make sure that this does not go above 44. Now it's 44.5. So I got to kind of keep an eye on it over here and see where it goes. Okay, because if it goes up out of view there, then I know I got to change it. The EST. The ES today. We had a few trades here on the ES. It started out all right. This first trade here on the ES, we picked up 8 ticks on that one. And then I feel like we missed a trade in here on the ES somewhere. Was it this? Oh, it was this right here. I missed this trade right here on the ES. That's because I was getting stopped out on the MQ at the time. I missed that trade. Then we didn't do anything through here It's all the way over here. We picked up one more tick on that to get us to +9. And then we didn't do anything through here, heading into the zone. I don't know why the markets did this right here, but we took this trade right here, and I ended up not getting my stop to break even. So I ended up stopping out. I must have had a horrible entry because the entry point should have been there at 58, and it went down five ticks, and I didn't get my stop to break even. Okay, so this has gone up a little bit here, so we have to bump up. Then I missed one decent trade. There was one right here that went about 7 ticks, another one right here that went about 10 ticks. Then I did put in a higher swing, but didn't do another trade on the long side. Then we get all the way over here. It got really sideways toward the end. I'm going to have to cancel this. This is during the break here. I had one decent trade right here that would have worked okay if you let it run. I had a little bit of a higher swing right there. You could have taken this, worked out for about another 5 or 7 ticks. I'm going to cancel this trade on the Russell. And now you can't take a trade here because it's going right into the zone. So it was very limited trading opportunity today. They thought we were going to have a lot. Like yesterday morning, it was awesome yesterday morning. The way it started out today, it seemed like we were going to get a lot of opportunity, but just side right up. And we stopped out a couple of times right at the end. Now, the NQ, we were never positive on the NQ today. Our first trade here, stop out. Our second trade here, stop out. Then finally, we got Summit here. We're at -72, and then we got +4 on that one. That got us to -68. Then we +48 on that one. That got us to not +68, -68. And then after this one, we're at -20. Those of you guys that were in there this morning, you remember I created these this morning? And I did the bullfrog sound. It just made the bullfrog sound. That is kind of funny. Anyway, did you hear it? Did you hear that, Chris? Well, that's the first time it's happened, I think, since this morning, isn't it? It was the first time I've heard it anyway. In the log, there was one right here, the +85. That's the first -85. So the -85 is a bullfrog, I guess, and the +85 is third, I think, or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, we got this 48 ticket, and we had to break even right there. And then toward the end of the session, we stopped out on this one. I took this one. I was really not really wanting to take that one because the markets weren't really trending. That's what I was saying to everybody. I mean, this right here is not really a good trend. What I should have done and didn't do is I should have said, this is what we want to get out of before I take a trade. I should have said, we want to get out of that before you take a trade. Okay, because it was choppy. But I didn't. And I took the trade and I stopped out. Then let's get into the break here. During the break, after I got out of that choppiness, this was your first opportunity there. That worked out well, enough to get a break even. Then the next opportunity was all the way over here was the next opportunity, and I wouldn't have done that because this wasn't a higher swing. So the next opportunity was all the way over here. This was the next opportunity, and that just worked out pretty well. Okay, up into zone. After that, there was one right here. If you took it for the long right there going into the zone, it would have stopped you out. You wouldn't have taken that because you didn't put it in a higher swing until just now. All right. So we have a trade setting up here on the NQ right now. That was it. So this morning it was rough. It was rough going this morning. And I'm not gonna try to deny that. I can't sugarcoat that. I don't normally end up negative at the end of the session, and I did today. There's a trade here on the NQ. That up close right there on the NQ is a trade. Okay, I didn't get filled. I'm not in it. I didn't get filled. Yeah, a bit froggy. 547 up to 567 on the YM right now. All right, the YM trade coming up here. The ES has nothing because it's going right into the zone. This I didn't get filled on, but it should get up above the prior swing high. That's funny. Feeling froggy. when I was in training in the military. So, you feeling froggy, man? You feeling froggy? Leap. Go ahead. Leap. And some other words in there too. But it was froggy. All right, so we want to get a higher swing here. We want to get that up above there and then another pullback. Jump onto that. Now, it said this stuff here where it's crossing down below minus 85. The whole reason I pointed that out this morning on the 100 range, if you go to the 100 range and the ribbon is bullish and it's crossing below the minus 85, I think this might have been on the MNQ. No, it was on the NQ. All right, so it might have been back here that it triggered that. 1235, is that it? No. Yeah, it's this bar right here. It was that one. That suggests that it's going to have like 100 tick move up, and it did have 100 tick move up. And then some 610, a 25-point move. So it went from 610 all the way up to 682. So that's a 72-point move, or a 288 tick move is what that ended up being. That's what that suggested was going to happen when you got that alert over there. So that happened way back here. 1235 back there. I don't know why I just heard a frog there though. What was the thing that made the frog happen? If it crosses below 85, that's what I think I set it up as. If it crosses below 85, hang on. The alert, this one is if it crosses down, if the TV trades range trigger crosses down below minus 85, then I have thunder. That one's thunder. So if it crosses above, that's the other one. This one is if it crosses above, that's the frog. That's what just happened in here. We got the frog in there. If it crosses above 85, then that gives the bullfrog. It's froggy if it's crossing above. It's actually the other way around. I should have those the other way around. I'm going to change them. So this one is thunder. And the other one is feeling froggy. Because, you know, when it's feeling froggy, it's going to go up. When it's thunder, it's coming down. But that's the way that it is. So when it goes on the 100 range, for those of you guys who don't know, what I was going over here was an alert that I set up this morning. It was part of the lesson plan this morning, was setting up alerts. I set up the alert on the TV Trades range trigger so that when you come in here and you choose TV Trades range trigger, if you have crossing down value, minus 85, do once per bar close, has all that information in there. Then in here, see it says short and long here, test long, test short. Then in here you can choose whatever you want. Notify an app, show toast notification. The toast is the pop-up. It used to say pop-up, but they changed that to toast. That's weird. But anyway, it has show toast notification and all that stuff. You can have it do whatever you want in here. When it does that on 100 range, if you are looking on a 31 range, like back here, if you're back here, this was actually back here when it triggered at 35 right here. That triggered that it was getting into the oversold on the 100 range. When the 100 range, ribbon was bullish like this, right? When the 100 range ribbon is bullish like this and it comes out of the oversold, you're expecting a big move up. All right. So from the 31 range in here, we were all below the ribbon and everything. We weren't getting any trade setups, thankfully, in here below the ribbon because it was suggesting from a larger time frame that price was going to start moving up. So when you get one of those and you get an indication on a smaller time frame that price is going to be moving up on the bigger time frame, you already got that indication on the bigger time frame. You can hold on to those trades a little longer because you know that the bigger time frame is suggesting it's going to have like a 25-point move or a 100-tick move minimum. Okay, that's usually the case. Just want to point that out. So you put the time frames together just by having that alert pop up over there. It lets you know what's going on in the larger time frame stuff. Okay. All right, so let's get back in here and see if we have any trades. We don't. I guess there was one over here on the YM, but we weren't really watching that. Yeah, we were looking for the short over here a little while ago on the YM. Remember when it was over here? I was going through all that. We were looking for the short, but that never happened. So I guess I thought that's what we're looking for. Anyway, I don't have any trades on right now. It's minus 85, below minus 85. Of course, not 85. All right, so let's go out here for a minute to number 8 and just take a look at this. I don't remember what this was, but I thought I'd work my way in. Tesla 100 range, okay. So I was getting a lot of alerts on Tesla this morning on my phone, and they're on a 50 range. Let me go to a 50 range. What happens on a daily on Tesla? Interesting. I just had a thought. The 100 range, sorry, the 50 range on this. I'm just getting all my thoughts together, sort of, in my mind. Here we go, the 50 range on this. This is what it looks like. Okay, this is something else that I've been working on. This is actually, you know how we say we don't try to pick tops and bottoms? There's actually 2 pick exactly the top and bottom. That was the idea behind this thing that I created. It's not anything yet, but you can see it was pretty accurate right there. The 50 range, the trades that it was triggering here this morning. Well, I can see when it's coming out of the overbought. It was giving me a bunch of short trades and it was coming out of the overbought on the 50 range. So that was all good stuff. Coming out of the oversold, coming out of the overbought. All good, valuable information. This one? Yeah, in a sense, Chris, yes. That was something else that sometimes when I'm figuring stuff out, I see things and suddenly things become clear in one way or another, but it's totally unrelated and I'm down the total wrong rabbit hole. And it's like, once you get down there, there's all these different kinds of sidetracks you can get lost in. It's fine. Last weekend, Jada made me make a list of all the things that I have to do. And I did. I had a list. And by the end of the weekend, I still had 10 things on the list. I'm down to like 6 now. That's not even one of them. That thing that I just showed you is not even on the list. I made it on the list before. All right, so I wanted to just take a look at this. This is the YM. This is just using straight TV trades. And this is on a 19 range. And if we go over one more, we'll go over to, we are on one more. We're on the 7th one right now. We'll go to this one. Now, whoever it was, the guy that wanted to watch the gold here, spot gold, still hasn't taken the trial as far as I know. And said he was gonna step right up and take the trial, but he didn't. And here's the spot gold, and this is on the 1,000 range. That's a huge time frame. No, 1,000 range with gold. That's a $10 move, right? 1,000. Move the decimal over twice. Yeah, it's a $10 move. Right, 1 bar 70 up to. Oh, it's a. Okay, and okay, so each bar in here is worth $1 move on 1,000 range. Each bar is $1 move because it takes their 1%, 1 tick per penny. So that's okay. So that's good. It's $1 move for 1,000 range with gold. With regular stocks, like if I go back to the Tesla, a $1 move is 100 range. Okay, because it's a penny a move. But for some reason with gold, Now, 100 range on Tesla, 1 bar is $1. See right here, 750, 750 up to 750, 850, top and bottom of that bar. If you look at any bar, if you go like this and you click data window, you look at any bar, the top and bottom, the high and low, 60 to 59, 59.83 to 58.83. Every bar is $1 on 100 range. If we go back to gold, that's what was kind of weird to me. If we go back here to the gold, this is the spot gold. And this is 1,000 range bar. So on 1,000 range bar on the spot gold, every tick up and down is a quarter of a penny, it looks like. Is that right? No, every tick up and down is 1/10 of a cent, it looks like. I don't know, but every bar, like 1 bar here, this is 1,000 range, and the high is 71.95 and the low is 70.95. So yeah, that's what it is. Every tick up and down on the spot gold chart, every tick up and down is 1/10 of a penny. So 1,000 range equals $1 movement in the spot gold. Well, you can see how it is in here with 1,000 range. I mean, that guy was looking at, he was looking at like a 6 hour or a weekly, wasn't he? Something like that. I thought it was 4 hours or 6 hours and weekly, but it is right here. The same stuff. Okay, well, here's the 4 hour. And, coming out of the oversold when the ribbon is spread, had some great opportunities in here. Right there was one. Right there was one. Right here was one. And the ribbon wasn't really spread through here, but it did have one right there. And the most recent one is just happening now. And that's on a 4 hour. And if you look at the weekly, yeah. The futures gold is like this. If you just go to GC, this is futures gold. And it's a Z contract right now. That's what we're just looking at with spot gold. This is the futures gold. With futures gold, every tick right now, well, and with futures, every tick is a dime. Okay, every tick up and down is a dime. Okay, so it's different. Which leads? I don't know that any of them lead, but futures, doesn't futures?
And over time, as the contract nears expiration, the price gets closer and closer to spot price. So the futures price will typically be higher than gold. Then the futures price will typically be higher than the spot price. In fact, all you got to do is just bring it up on your chart right now and see what the futures price of gold is and see what the spot price of gold is. And that will give
the
you
futures right now. It's 27.82, and the spot was XAU USD, right? 27.82 compared to 27.67. 27.67. So the futures is more. The futures is quite a bit more. $13 more, $15 more.
But the closer
right now,
closer that contract gets to expiration, the closer the two will come together. That's just in general how it works.
Okay, so I'll go back to 1,000 range on this. Well, the weekly, if I go back to the weekly, one of the other ones that the guy wanted to look at. All the weeklies, when it's coming out of the oversold and the ribbon is right, all the weeklies were nailing it too. All the way through. Coming to the oversold when the ribbon is right. Doesn't happen very often. Once a month, maybe. Once or twice a month. But And you looked at daily. Let's look there. Daily, 1 day. Okay, so this happens a little more frequently if you look at the daily. But when a ribbon is spread, this is the first one that didn't work right here. Right here, October 1st. It's the first one that didn't work at all. And this one back here, went a little bit into profit before it pulled back. But gold has been on a tear lately. Okay, now the next one over, let's see. I was working my way back to Bitcoin is what I was doing. And Bitcoin is the next one. And here's Bitcoin. Bitcoin's on a run today. Looks like 73,630 right now. Did you notice that, D?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Check the Breeze channel for the last post I put in. It'll blow your mind.
Okay. Hold it. I'm just having a little bit of an emergency here during the break.
Oh, okay. If you got a problem, don't worry about it.
No. It was during the break. It's over.
Okay.
The last thing that you posted
The last
was
thing
about
I posted in the Breeze channel. Yeah. If you can drag it out so everybody sees it. I don't know if you can.
the one about the guy being handcuffed at Bank of America.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he tried to he wanted to withdraw. He's a film director, Ryan Googler. If you hover over that again, hover over it again, so that text.
Sorry.
Yeah, known for the movie Black Panther, was handcuffed and had guns drawn on him at a Bank of America in Georgia while attempting to withdraw $12,000 from his own account. That's how much they do not want you. They, the deep state, do not want you to have cash money. They want to be able to track electronically everything you do. So, I've been saying this for a while. If you got money in a bank, get it out. I mean, you got to leave enough in there, I guess, to, so your water bill gets paid and that kind of stuff on time. But if it's anything significant, you're better off putting it somewhere legal. I don't want to encourage anyone to do anything illegal. But there's no law that says you have to keep your money in the bank. There is a law that says you can't keep it in your safe deposit box.
Is there?
Yeah.
Well, that's not really a safe place anyway.
No, it isn't.
Ultimately, the bank has control over that.
That's
you
right.
don't.
That's right. But
You might think it's safe.
There's no law against putting it in a coffee can and burying it in your backyard or in the desert, Now, if you put it in your backyard with a metal detector, they'll find it because the new bills have that little strip of metal in them. So, use your imagination, but don't break the law. We never encourage anyone to do anything illegal or break the law on this program.
Never. All right. So now we really don't have anything going here right now. We don't have any trades that are setting up anywhere. Let's go look at, I want to look at Bitcoin again because it's on a run. It's on a tear right here. And
I mean, we're approaching all-time historic highs.
This is what the TV trades, but let's put the context on. Oops, not that context. Let's put the most recent context on. Let's go here. The most recent context doesn't have all this stuff on it. The context are the context PP. We are approaching all-time highs, and this is the daily. So the last indication we got,
and you'll see the all-time high if you go monthly or weekly.
Go monthly. Well, I mean the all-time high is right over here, I think, isn't it? If we put we put the other context, if we put the PP on, it's going to have the context. That's short target. It's giving short targets right now. I don't know why it's giving short targets.
Yeah, if you put it on weekly, it'll stick out. It's 73 and change.
Okay. Yeah, it is. It's not far above. I know that. 1 week. Here it is. It's right over here. 73,775. Actually, 74,415. 74,415 is the high. Sorry, 73,775 is where we are right now. So we could have an all-time high on Bitcoin today.
Oh my goodness.
Today it could happen.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. That would not be unheard of right now. To have an all-time high on Bitcoin. It's only What's it up right now on the day? It's up quite a bit.
Percentage, I
It is
don't
up. The low
know.
was, well, the open was at 68. It's up 9.7%, $6,500 right now. So another $800 is nothing.
Oh, Trump's up there. Trump stock's up 31%.
Isn't it?
Yesterday and today. I think yesterday was up 21%. Today's up 10%.
What is that?
DJT.
DJT, that's what I thought. It's probably getting pretty close to where I bought it now.
It's always nice to hit break even.
Yeah.
Look at that gap
Yeah.
today.
Well, I bought it. Yeah. No, that's good. We've got a gap. It's running. It's running.
And we're
No.
just getting, the cross down there on the ribbon. So, I mean, that thing could have legs. Maybe get a little pullback, before it really takes off.
Yes. I bought it back here. I feel like I bought it back there.
Should
I'm pretty
the
sure I did.
country decide to elect him next Monday, this thing will probably double in a day.
Yep.
Not giving individual investment advice, just making an observation.
So I actually got to be coming on a short run right now, I would think. You'd think that'd be coming up because anybody that was short in that in the beginning when he was
when
guilty
this
and
thing
all that
starts
stuff,
hitting all
remember?
that, when this thing hits those stops. See, guys, when you're short a stock and you have a stop loss, well, when price rises and hits your stop loss, then you've got to buy to get out of your short position, and that just pushes the market higher. This is what we like to refer to as a bear trap, and they stepped right into it.
Yes, they certainly did. They had it all over their shoes right now.
Yep, they were naked short selling that thing, and these brokers, they're going to be getting called on the carpet. Why didn't you cover this in 3 days like you were supposed to? And nobody's done that since the 1920s. Well, it's the law. You're fired. Anyway.
Yes. Yeah, sorry. I just responded to something that came in. All right, so we're going to wrap it up. I guess it's time to wrap it up. We didn't have a lot of trades in here today. Sorry about that, everybody. The markets have just been like that today. There's just not a ton of opportunity today. It seems like you got to get it early in the morning. Like tomorrow, if I get the goal for the day, I might just say, okay, I'm just going to do training the rest of the day. Because today I got the goal for the day after 4 minutes. And it was all downhill from there. All right. So
you want me to take it?
If you have...
Oh, you go ahead.
Well, let me do this part first.
Sure.
If you have not taken a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button right here. There's no credit card required for the trial. When you get that, you go over here. Just fill this out. First name, last name, email, phone number. Down here gives you TradingView login ID. If you have one, give it to us. If you don't have one, go get one. You can get one for free. You can at least look at it for free. Get a TradingView login ID. To do that, I haven't said this. To do that, go here to mytradingq.com, click on trading platforms, and follow the instructions right here for TradingView. It's a 3-minute video. Follow the instructions.
And then once you sign up for the trial, here's the most important part. Show up.
Yes, show up. Sign up for the trial. Give us your login ID and go to the room. Get in the room. Ask questions.
Get in there and ask questions, and you're wasting your time and ours. Okay.
We want to hear the questions because there's probably a bunch of other people that have the same question you have.
Yeah,
so
we're going to be there anyway. But I signed up for this trial. I didn't learn anything. Oh, well, how many hours did you spend in the room of the 10 hours available to you? Oh, I never actually got a chance to log in. Oh, I see. Okay.
Yes, that is all the difference in the world right there.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
I'll quit.
There. Now you can take it.
I'll quit squawking. All right. Here we go.
That's back at fabulous Arizona in Studio A overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park.
Okay. Recap of the morning session.
Today it took 4 minutes and 2 trades to get to $1,500.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, guys, you left off on the Russell. And I had drawn this window right before we left out, but here's what happened last night. Okay, the market opened. 5 minutes after the open, everybody had the targets. Now, we got red and falling overhead, so we expect price to go to the BBC. And it did. The pullback to the BBC holds more often than not. You see, when price drops to the BBC, you expect it to be support. When price rallies up to the BBC, you expect it to be resistance. The same is true with the weekly trading zones. Okay, so the pullback held, and it sent us right up to the target to the tick. Sweet. Resistance will always send the market looking for support. So we came to the BBC. Blue and climbing turned to red and falling. We got below the BBC, and we ran right down to the short target, to the tick. Support will send the market looking for resistance. BBC, pullback holds more often than not. And from there, the bottom kind of fell out. Now, okay, here's a slice. Yeah, not a perfect example, but I'd rather have it be a whole red candle to show you as an example, but I'll just use this. When this ran out of steam, it retraced back to the zone it sliced through, and then continued in the direction of the slice all the way to the next zone, to the tick. Yeah, overshot it by a tick, looks like. Okay, so you're a member or trial member, 2 great opportunities, get your goal for the day. Now, these are big moves. We're on a 30-minute chart. I use a 30-minute chart as my roadmap. Do I want to be trading short? Do I want to be trading long? Now, on this 30-minute chart, okay, I'm below the BBC, so I know I want to be looking for a short. But if I can see that I'm in pullback mode, then I don't do anything until I see if that pullback's going to hold. And if it does, then I'm back to shorting again. But once we go into pullback mode, not going to do anything. I'm going to wait and see if it holds, and if it does, then I'm going to short again. Okay. Now, I drew this window way down here, but look at what's happening. Red and falling's turning to blue and climbing. That means price may be heading higher. So, what's the high of this candle? 22.54. Oh, this candle's what I wanted. 52.80. So 22.50.80. See, I don't like that. That's cutting it so close. I'd rather wait for this. I mean, you can do that if you have the time. 22.58 to 22.60, go for the day. And you see, looking left, I have no obstacles in my path. Okay? All right. NQ. Market open below the weekly zone, below the BBC. So we expect it's going to go down to the target. Almost made it there. Bounced, made it. This time we overshot the pullback, hit the zone. Okay. Then got back below the BBC and went all the way to the target and through it. Now, any of these candles were enough to get your goal for the day. You only need 5 points to get your goal for the day on the NQ. But in the logic, I make the initial target 10 points just because it's so volatile. Okay, so the NQ wants to climb. Okay, this is Monday. We took out Monday's high, and then we fell back to the zone. Okay, so now I'm looking at Friday's high. Okay, now let me scrunch it up. See, I got nothing. So let me get above Friday's high. Friday's high was 2707. So 2715. Let's make it 2725. Can we do that? It's hard. Okay. Okay, so you see how we've gotten above this, and then we looked way back and there's nothing else above that. So from 2725 to 20, let's be conservative. Let's go 2825. Okay. From 725 to 825. That's 100 points at $20 a point. If price goes from the bottom of this window to the top of this window, that's $2,000 per contract traded. Now, price rarely travels in a straight line. It goes leg, retrace, leg, retrace, leg, retrace, leg, retrace. So when you have a window this big, chances are, first time it might get a third of the way through, and you get a little retracement, and then maybe it goes another third up, and you get a retracement, then you get another. Okay, so you can just get your goal for the day, put the mouse away. But if you're the one guy that wants to hit a home run, that's your playing field. Okay. Now 725. This high over here was 707. So, I mean, if you want to be more conservative and make price prove itself, you could bump that up a little bit because you got so much room to work with. And if price were all of a sudden to fall apart and get below the BBC, my window of opportunity is right here. From 2482 to 72. You could actually go 92 to 72. But that's really tight. I'd rather go 82 to 72. That's $200 per contract traded in that little window right there. Okay. All right, that's all the indices. Crude oil. Here's where we opened last night. We're above the BBC, but that quickly changed. We got below, red and falling, took us down to here. Support will send the market looking for resistance, which it found. Now you see where see right here where the step line crossed below, blue and climbing, and it turned into red and falling. That's what my long target was, and we overshot it by a tick. So that's resistance. So now the market's got to go find support. That thing I was talking about, a slice on on a weekly zone, you can apply that to the BBC as well. See, we sliced through the BBC on the 30-minute chart. When it ran out of steam, what did it do? It retraced back to the BBC, the pullback held, and then bang, it dropped to and through the target. The step line is now crossed red and falling, so it's trying to pull up to the BBC, which we expect to hold. It holds more often than not, but sometimes it doesn't. So you got to be patient and wait. So the range chart is perfect for executing your trade with surgical precision. The 30-minute just gives you a broader view, okay, of what the market's doing. And see, right now, a lot of people probably wanting to short the NQ. But because we know, because the step line just crossed red and falling, price very well may drop to the next level, to the next zone. But first, it's most likely to pull back to the BBC. And if it spikes it, you got a bearish cross right there. Now if it gets above that bearish cross, well then you got plenty of room up here, like from 67.90 to 68.05. It'd be $150 per contract traded. What's left? Go. Market opened here, dropped to the BBC, the pullback, it held here, and then perfect stack. Price, step line, blue and climbing, BBC, sent us all the way to the target, all the way to the zone. Resistance at the zone will send the market looking for support, which it found kind of in an odd spot, but that's okay. Shot it back up to the zone. Remember, the zones are published Monday morning, 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Once they're published, they're carved in stone for the entire week. They don't change in any way whatsoever. And you'll also notice that once price trades through the long target in this case, as it comes back to that target, it often acts as support. Support, support, support. Okay. And then we got a killer run with the perfect stack. Overshot the zone. Still got zones overhead, right? One. We only got one. 28.27. But you see these wicks, okay? That's a market that doesn't have the strength I like to see. Plus the step line has crossed, but it's pointing up. So I just wouldn't want to trade gold right now. But if gold were to start dropping, then I don't put counter trend trades in the Logic 247 channel. There's over 18,200 alerts. Every one of them is a trend trade as defined by the 30-minute chart, price, and the BBC. But again, if price fell apart and got below the BBC, then you could trade 27.70 down to 27.69, the zone. The zone is 68.69. That's your goal for the day. All right, one last market, silver. Here's where we opened last night. Got above the BBC, ran right up to the zone, to the target and the zone. Resistance, that's going to send the market looking for support. BBC, pullback held. Even though it spiked it, it held. And that sent us back up to resistance at the target, which sent us back to support at the BBC. And then we got a leg that exceeded even Friday's high. Okay? And then a retracement. See how that long target, once it's been breached, it can often become support on the pullback. And the fact that we had the BBC right at that target, so that would be, this is support times 3, because you got a zone, you got the BBC, and you got the top of that long target. Support sends us to resistance at the zone. We spiked it, but we closed below it. Spiked it, closed well below it. So you got a high, you got a lower high, and where does price go? Right back to the BBC. And from there, get a leg, retracement, a leg. Step line is crossed, but it's pointing up. So silver, I think your best shot would be something like 34. Can we go 54? Nah, that's cutting it a little close. Let's go 34. 56 to 64. That's $400 per contract traded. And that's it. Oh, we're going to look at this window. Remember we drew in this window at the beginning of the broadcast? Okay. Remember? Okay. And we filled it beautifully. Go for the day. Now, once a window of opportunity fills, the market loves to repeat itself. So the market has found support here at blue and climbing. If this thing turns green, okay, if price rises back to where the candle opened right there and starts printing green, I would say do it again. Now, we didn't quite make it to the long target, but that's okay. We had plenty of opportunities to get our goal for the day on the short side and the long side. Okay. And on the daily, we're up against, well, red and falling is the first resistance major. First the high of the day, then red and falling, then the 50% fib extension. If we get below the BBC, then the 24% fib extension, and the low of October 23rd, that's your support. To become a member, send an email to support@cfrn.net, and in the subject line just say, I want to become a member. Valerie will send you an email with information and a link you can click to become a member. Once you become a member by clicking that link, then she'll send you a couple of emails. Very important information. Some of it won't even make sense to you yet. Trust me, you'll need that information. Stick those emails in a folder somewhere so you don't lose them. If you lose them, we'll send them again, but just for your convenience, save them so you know where they are. Okay? When you become a passport holder, when you send that email that says, I want to become a member, you're going to get 2 hours of live training every trading day. Everyone knows 9 out of 10 new traders fail. Now that article was published in 2006. They say it's gotten worse. I don't know. But that article didn't say why. So I went on a personal journey to find out why. And I figured it out real quick. Because all these people were buying all these indicators and oscillators and signing up with these grumpy gurus, and nobody was actually teaching them how to trade. That's what we do our best to do 24 hours a day, not just during these 2 hours, okay? Teach you how to trade. Once you learn how to trade, nobody can ever take that away from you. That's powerful. You're like a free agent. You can work anywhere in the world that has a fast, robust internet connection. You're no longer tied to your desk or an office or anything. Any place you can get to a computer and a browser with a fast, reliable internet connection. That part's important. Okay. Along with 2 hours of group training every trading day, one-on-one private mentoring, the strategy you learn, the indicators you own as a passport holder are fluid across all markets and all time frames. Stocks, futures, crypto, Forex, ETFs. Because price flow is the same across all markets and all time frames. From support to resistance, back to support, back to resistance, over and over, again and again. It's a never-ending cycle. You'll also get the Logic 247 alerts around the clock, You'll get the concierge trade alerts every night the second they're published. Every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern, you'll get the weekly trading zones. And again, once they're published, they're carved in stone for the entire week. And you'll be able to attend the members only workshop on Thursday night. Not only will you be able to attend the workshop, but you'll get the key to the vault that contains hundreds of previous workshops. Do you need to watch them all? No. But it's kind of nice to have all that information, all those teachable moments that if you find yourself with time on your hands that you can dive into. Okay? So there's lots of information at mytradingiq.com. I don't think there's a buy button. I don't know why, but I don't think there is. So email support@cfrn.net, and in the subject line just say, I would like to become a member. Valerie will spring into action. Okay, we're going to wrap things up with our good word for the day. Yesterday it was about changing your concept of God. He's not this old dude with a long white beard waiting to zap you every time you make a mistake. It's a common misconception. He's actually a loving father. Speaking of loving, today's good word for the day, how love is expressed. Galatians 5:13 encourages us serve one another humbly in love. Love is mostly something you do instead of something you feel. Paul writes, you, my brothers and sisters, were called to be free. But do not use your freedom to indulge the flesh. Rather, serve one another humbly in love. Galatians 5:13. So how are you supposed to express your love? According to one author, as follows. A son drives for 5 hours to be with his mother on her birthday. A friend mentions a book he is interested in. His friend remembers and finds a copy to give to him for no visible reason. A middle-aged couple in a restaurant see a young husband and wife with little money and secretly pay their bill. A father knows how much. Now, okay, let me back up. You see a couple, maybe it's their anniversary, and for some obvious reasons you can tell that, they're kind of out of their element and it's probably stretching their budget to be there. Don't rob yourself of God's blessing. Don't be the big shot and go slap a $100 bill down on their table and go, we're going to pay for your dinner. No. You go to the maitre d' and quietly say, see that couple over there? We would like to pay their bill for them and add a tip, but please, don't say it was those people sitting over there. Just say God wanted to bless you through some people that were here earlier. They'll never know who it was, but they'll be telling that story for how long? Most of their life. That's just one way. A father knows how much his daughter likes having a clean car, so he sneaks over to wash it for her by surprise. People in a small group email each other throughout the week as a way of expressing their care. A wise man once said that just as the 3 laws of real estate are location, 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 the 3 laws of relationship are observation, observation, observation. The people who give life to us are people who notice us. They know what we love and fear, When we work to truly notice someone else, love for them grows. When we work to truly observe another person, in that self-forgetfulness, our soul flourishes. I said all that to say this. Love grows when you serve others. And that's our good word for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.